Hey everyone, here's a question that probably 99% of us have wondered about at some point, but most of us are way too embarrassed to actually ask out loud. What happens if you masturbate every single day? I know. We're diving straight into the deep end today. But here's the thing. This is one of those topics that's surrounded by so much misinformation, shame, and straight-up myths that it's actually doing us all a disservice. So today, we're going to have an honest, science-based conversation about what really happens to your body and mind when masturbation becomes a daily habit. Whether you're curious about the health effects, worried about whether it's normal, or just want to separate fact from fiction, stick around because we're about to bust some myths and give you the real deal. First things first, masturbation is completely normal. I'm talking statistically normal, biologically normal, and psychologically normal. Studies show that somewhere between 70 to 95% of people masturbate at some point in their lives, with many doing it regularly. But what about every day? Well, that's where things get interesting and honestly, where a lot of the confusion starts. The truth is, there's no magic number when it comes to masturbation frequency. What's normal for one person might be too much or too little for another. Some people masturbate multiple times a day, others once a week, and some go months without it. All of these can be perfectly healthy. But let's dig into what actually happens when you make it a daily practice. Let's start with your body, because this is where most of the myths live. First up, the good news. Daily masturbation can actually have some legitimate health benefits. For people with prostates, regular ejaculation has been linked to a reduced risk of prostate cancer. Some studies suggest that men who ejaculate more frequently, we're talking 21 times a month or more, have about a 20% lower risk of developing prostate cancer. Daily masturbation can also help you sleep better. That post-orgasm relaxation isn't just in your head. It's caused by a cocktail of hormones including oxytocin and prolactin that naturally make you feel calm and drowsy. It can also be a natural pain reliever. Orgasms trigger the release of endorphins, which are your body's natural painkillers. Some people find it helps with headaches, cramps, and even general stress-related tension. Now, what about the downsides? This is where we need to separate the real from the ridiculous. You've probably heard that masturbation causes hair loss, blindness, or stunted growth. Let me be crystal clear. These are complete myths with zero scientific backing. Your hair follicles don't care about your masturbation habits, and your vision will remain completely unaffected. However, there can be some real physical considerations with daily masturbation. If you're going at it too aggressively or too frequently, you might experience some temporary soreness or irritation. Think of it like any other physical activity. If you suddenly started doing push-ups every day without building up to it, you'd probably be sore too. For people with penises, very frequent masturbation might occasionally lead to minor skin irritation or temporary sensitivity changes. For people with vaginas, it could potentially increase the risk of minor infections if proper hygiene isn't maintained, especially if you're using toys or your hands aren't clean. But here's the key word: temporary. These aren't permanent damage. They're more like your body saying, hey, maybe ease up a bit. Now let's talk about what's happening upstairs, because this is arguably more important than the physical stuff. Masturbation triggers a release of feel-good chemicals in your brain: dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. In moderate amounts, this can boost your mood, reduce stress, and even help with anxiety. Some people find that daily masturbation helps them feel more connected to their own body and sexuality. It can be a form of self-care, a way to explore what you like, and a healthy outlet for sexual energy. But, and this is important, like anything that triggers dopamine release, it's possible to develop an unhealthy relationship with it. This is where the line between healthy habit and problematic behavior gets drawn. If you find that you're masturbating every day because you feel like you have to, not because you want to, that might be worth examining. If it's interfering with your daily activities, relationships, or responsibilities, then it might be crossing into compulsive territory. Some people also report that very frequent masturbation affects their sensitivity or enjoyment during partnered sex. This isn't necessarily permanent, but it's something to be aware of. Let's be real for a minute. If you're in a relationship, daily masturbation might raise some questions for your partner. And that's okay. Communication is key here. Some partners might feel insecure, wondering if they're not satisfying their partner sexually. Others might be completely fine with it. The important thing is having an open, honest conversation about boundaries and expectations. Here's what I want you to remember. Masturbation and partnered sex serve different purposes. One doesn't necessarily replace the other. Masturbation is often more about stress relief, exploration, or just taking care of a physical need. Partnered sex is about connection, intimacy, and shared pleasure. If daily masturbation is affecting your interest in or performance during partnered sex, though, that's definitely worth discussing, both with your partner and possibly with a healthcare provider. So how do you know if daily masturbation is crossing the line from healthy to problematic? Ask yourself these questions. Is it interfering with your work, school, or social life? Are you choosing masturbation over spending time with friends, family, or partners? Do you feel anxious or upset when you can't masturbate? Are you doing it even when you don't really want to, just out of habit or compulsion? If you answered yes to any of these, it might be worth taking a step back and evaluating your relationship with masturbation. Another red flag is if you're experiencing physical discomfort or injury, but continuing anyway. Your body's pain signals exist for a reason. Here's what the research actually tells us about daily masturbation. For most people, it's perfectly fine and can even be beneficial. It's not going to cause any serious health problems, and it might actually help with some. The key is being honest with yourself about why you're doing it and how it's affecting your life. If it's a healthy outlet that you enjoy and it's not interfering with other aspects of your life, then carry on. If it's becoming compulsive or causing problems in your relationships or daily functioning, then it might be time to reassess. Remember, sexual health is just like any other aspect of health. It's about balance, self-awareness, and doing what feels right for your body and your life. If you are masturbating daily, there are some practical things to keep in mind. Use lubrication if needed to prevent irritation. Keep your hands and any toys clean. Pay attention to your body's signals. If something hurts or doesn't feel right, listen to that. And please, please don't let shame drive your decisions around this. Sexual shame is one of the most damaging things we can carry, and it serves absolutely no one. If you're struggling with compulsive sexual behaviors or if your masturbation habits are causing you distress, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Sex therapists, counselors, and healthcare providers are there to help without judgment. So there you have it, the real, unvarnished truth about daily masturbation. It's not the boogeyman that some people make it out to be, but it's also not a magical cure-all. Like most things in life, it's about finding what works for you, being honest with yourself, and maintaining balance. What's your take on all this? Have you noticed any changes, positive or negative, in your own experiences? Drop a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. And hey, if this video helped clear up some confusion or answered some questions you've been wondering about, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more honest conversations about topics we all think about but rarely discuss openly. Remember, your sexual health is part of your overall well-being, and you deserve to have accurate information to make informed decisions about your own body. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.